Hello, everybody. Sorry about that little delay there. Uh, this is going to be a real quick, just go grab some ice cream thing turned into a little bit longer thing, because all the stuff that I bought, the ice cream was brand new, and I forgot you have to like undo all the packaging and everything, and my butt still hurts. Those things are not directly related. But yeah, on Tuesday, when I streamed last, I had just gotten a new hormone implant put in, right? I think I might have mentioned it on stream. And I mean, I do. That's the thing. um, but yeah, like Tuesday was kind of rough. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you saw it here on camera as I was like falling asleep in the middle of the game. And it was definitely like I should have gone to sleep a while ago and I did not. Like I should have taken a nap a while ago and I did not. Um, And then yesterday was rough as well. I ended up leaving work early. I still need to put that in for time off. But yeah, no, it was still hurting a lot. And like today, it's definitely better. But I had to do laundry, which meant carrying laundry baskets up and down basement stairs. And I think that aggravated it a little bit. It is not happy right now. And unfortunately, one of the other things that happened yesterday that you know made things worse is the ice pack I was using popped, so I wasn't able to freeze it again and use it again. Um, I could have sworn we had more than the one, but Lord knows where it is. Possibly hiding in my boyfriend's room. Love him to death. um, but his room is a bit of a black hole for things in this house sometimes. Um, so yeah, I had to order new ones. They only came today. I used one literally just moments before starting this. It was wonderful. It felt great. Unfortunately, it's now warm. I'm giving it a little bit of time, and in the meantime, I have ice cream. So excessive amounts of ice cream. I don't know. I got to admit, I'm still feeling kind of blah. Starting to wonder a little bit if maybe the tired and all that is maybe because my boyfriend was sick. You know, he was sick the last couple of days after we got back from Provincetown. He seemed to come down with a bit of a cold. I'm wondering if I didn't quite get it, but like my body is still fighting it, and that's maybe why I'm tired. Just conjecture. I don't really know if that's really the case or not. Hard to say. Um, it's all fun, all lots of fun. Human bodies suck. Okay, so maybe it's not just me. Maybe it's just like a thing people just feel right now. Because I'm like waking up every morning and I'm like, I feel fine. And I feel fine for most of the day. And then by like 6 o'clock, I'm like face down on my bed. Not even 6 o'clock, earlier than that. Like, I don't know. Very strange. I mean, I'll admit I stayed up late last night, but I also worked from home today. So, I mean, I will not blame you if you do. Do not worry. Whatever is comfortable. Anyway, I mentioned on Discord that I had some thoughts about the last couple of seasons of Poirot. And I wanted to air them a little bit. Because, like, rewatching that whole series in rapid succession the way I did, every time I watch it, I notice new things. I know I've talked on the stream a couple of times before as I was watching it about how annoyed I was by, um, French characters who have English accents, things like that, where they give everyone an English accent, even though they're all supposed to be in a different country. There's an entire episode that's set in Brussels, in Belgium, where they all have British accents except for Poirot, who has his normal accent. And I'm sitting there being like, I don't understand. My brain is having trouble figuring this one out. You guys couldn't get actors with convincing French accents. Like, come on, at least French. Um, but like, there's definitely a big tonal shift. I'm trying to remember exactly when it happens. It happens in the mid 2000s. Poirot takes a bit of a break from the early 2000s to the mid 2000s. It's a couple of years. And then when it comes back, they're doing short TV movies. You know, they're doing like 90-minute movies instead of the 30-minute, 40-minute episodes, or not even that. I think they were like hour-long episodes. Anyway, they stopped doing episodes and start doing more TV movies. And this is where you get the bigger, beefier stories that everybody knows of Poirot, like Death on the Nile, um, uh, Appointment with Death, Murder in the Orient Express, these big things, right? But there's also a huge tonal shift I found in the actual storytelling. Like earlier, it's a little tongue in cheek. There's a lot of like humor as a framing device, a lot. There's a lot more of like the cheeky kind of music that kind of happens. And I really find that wonderful and charming the whole time. I'm not going to lie. And by the last couple of seasons, they've gone full like dark, brooding noir thing, and it's kind of odd. The other one that really throws me is that, I mean, at no point, and this is in the text as well, at no point is Poirot made to be not religious. In fact, a couple of times I believe Christie even refers to his Catholicism, but he's also not ever really shown in the text to be devoutly religious. Like, it's I think it's implied that he goes to church every week, but not that he's like, this deeply penitent Christian, right? But they really lean into that in the last couple of seasons, especially. Like, he's always carrying around the rosary, and it's about God. I mean, Orient Express is an excellent example of it. Which, yeah. Also just really weird to see Toby, what's his face, um as an American. Toby Jones, that's right. Like, he doesn't look Toby Jones doesn't look like an American, let alone an American gangster. Like, I gotta be honest, Stupid Sexy Action Poirot, otherwise known as Kenneth Branagh, did cast Ratchet well with Johnny Depp. Like, Johnny Depp was actually a good casting for an American gangster. But yeah, it feels like they kind of shoehorned the religiosity into it in some ways, because that was not in the original. It's not in the story. And I seem to recall, this is my theory here. I seem to recall that David Suchet is Catholic himself and very devout. Oh no, I'm sorry. Uh, Anglican. My mistake. Yeah. Like, he converted in. He made a documentary for the BBC about St. Paul. And then in 2014, he did one for St. Peter. Like, vice president of the British Bible Society, stuff like this. It's like, all right, simmer down. Jesus Christ. I mean, that's the thing. It is played well, and it only stands out when you look at the totality of the work. When you look at all of the seasons up to this point, then that's when this feels odd. It feels misplaced. Um, because Poirot has a deep sense of justice, which makes Murder on the Orient Express so difficult for him. but it's not necessarily founded in God. Like I understand him getting upset, like the way they played it, right? For those who don't know, for who may be watching the recording or whatever, because I know Digishell, you and I know, but the way that he played it for Murder on the Orient Express was that, you know, it is not for us to do the judgment, it is for God to do the judgment, and therefore you have violated God's will by perpetrating this murder. But in it just leaves this giant gaping hole of like, okay, but then what about what does the law mean to you then? Like, is the law an extension of God? Is that why it's okay? Because if we should leave judgment to God, then why are we passing judgment on anyone, even in a legal courtroom? It falls apart, I feel like, with a little bit too much scrutiny, and it's because it wasn't written that way. It was written to be I need to figure out how to move this. Hold on. This is weird because I actually need to be off center, which is wild. Yeah. Okay, that works. Um it's weird because I am not centered in my monitor right here, and because of my mic is the problem. It's so weird. But like it's just I don't know. It throws me off. I'm not it it's not like bad, but it is like, okay. All right, we're doing God now. Here we go. He's got a rosary. Okay. Um it feels a little out of place at that point. I also have to admit, I one of the parts of the big tonal shift that they'd made happen that I vehemently disagree with is removing almost entirely the characters of Hastings, Miss Lemon, and uh, oh my god, Jap, Inspector Jap. Um, like, and the thing is that they played an excellent role coming back for the Big Four episode, and I feel like they slotted pretty well into the different tone that they had been driving at, but they just dropped those characters altogether for the other ones. Now, mind you, Hastings, Miss Lemon, Jap are not all in the Poirot stories, so it would kind of be shoehorning them in where they, you know, don't belong. But they've done that. They did that with all of the adaptations for the ITV one. One of the kind of weird and interesting things about Orient Express is it very much hinges on having 12 people on board the train. That's a very important number, and they don't do that in the TV movie because they don't have the budget to have that many characters. They don't have the time to introduce that many characters. So they just combine a couple together, which fine. You know, if you aren't, they just cut the dialogue that references 12, and it works fine. But you know, being a Christie fan like myself, and I don't think it's very controversial for me to say that the Albert Finney is the Orient Express adaptation. I love David Suchet, and I wish he had been in that one, but that is what Murder on the Orient Express needed to look like. You know, and being a big fan of Agatha Christie, like I said, I've read the novel how many times I don't even know. It again stands out. Um, so I'm kind of like you were willing to change up things about the plot plenty of times and the characters plenty of times, then why would you get rid of these truly beloved TV characters that, yes, were written far beyond where they ever were in Christie's stories, but were truly deeply beloved? Don't get rid of them. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The 1977 Murder on the Orient Express cast was fucking stacked. Like, there was no way it wasn't going to do well. Fuck it, yeah. I mean, like, the fact that they had Redgrave, Bergman, and Bacall, like, holy shit. Like, it's so good. Which is why Stupid Sexy Action Poirot makes me so angry, because it was also a pretty damn stacked cast, and they fumbled it. They fumbled it because Kenneth Branagh can't stop himself. Ugh. He's not, and that's why I call them Stupid Sexy Action Poirot, because it's like way too much of an action movie for what Poirot really needs to be. It's mostly cerebral. Yes, it's not going to be sexy and fashionable and like action packed. Poirot very clearly, most of the time, sends the action to other people. Very rarely does he get directly involved, because he is supposed to be a weird little Belgian man with a funky mustache that can't go too fast. He's got little legs. But Branagh decided to make him way more attractive than he needed to be. Um, I mean, there are some miscasts in the Branagh adaptations regardless, but Branagh himself is the biggest one. Um, Going a step further, just on the topic of the Stupid Sexy Action Poirot movies, they actually get better, is the worst part. Um, Murder in the Orient Express, I really don't like. I don't think I can go so far as to hate it. I might watch it again, just to give myself something to feel. I don't know. um, I might watch it again, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have the same feeling I had last time. It's just not a very good adaptation. I'm sorry, it's not good. He fucked it up. Um, Death on the Nile was better, but but it it does fall into some of the big holes that he did in Orient Express. So while it fixed some of the things around everything, it still fell flat at the end of it. However, the what do they call it? Because it's not a real thing. A Haunting in Venice. That's right. A Haunting in Venice, which is like this weird mashup, and it's honestly it's an original story. It's an original story using the bare minimum framework of Halloween Party, just completely divorcing most of its context away from Christie's actual Halloween Party story. But Haunting in Venice is actually kind of good, and it's funny that it only got good when they just stopped trying to make a Christie movie. um, they're like, we're gonna do this thing kind of inspired by Christie, and I'm like, okay. Um, and it's way more psychological thriller than it is action movie, or like action mystery, like the first two were. So it's like I think they get better. Unfortunately, I think Haunting in Venice is the end of it. So I was kind of starting. Only at that point was I starting to be like, oh, maybe they might just do better the next time. But yeah, I think they are. I think they're done. It's also just kind of wild to have Tina Fey, but Tina Fey as Ariadne Oliver is actually kind of a brilliant cast. I won't lie. Um, they have something about the. I mean, from what I remember, it just didn't do very well. No, no, okay. Same month, 20th Century Studios boss Steve Asbell confirmed that other Agatha Christie stories will be adapted, including And Then There Were None, Witness for the Prosecution, and a Miss Marple film. Okay, I'll reserve my judgment. If they make Miss Marple sexy, I'm gonna go burn Hollywood to the ground. Like, no, no, no. Um, Yeah, Tina Fey as Ariadne was honestly really good casting. Well done. And which actually even reminds me too that like even though they get rid of or like more or less write out Lemon, Hastings, and Jap in the later seasons of Poirot, having um oh my god, I'm forgetting her name now too. Shit. She's marvelous. Ah, Zoe Wanamaker. There it is. All right. Zoe Wanamaker plays her so well. So well. Like like they took all of the whimsy that the other three would have had and pushed it into this one character. Um who's just like traipsing through the world in her like souped up car. Every time she gets out, apples tumble everywhere and they're all half eaten. She's just it's great. I love her chaos. And it's so good too. Zoe Wanamaker is an excellent actress, and I really do appreciate that they added her in there, even if I have other issues with that era. Um, and also, can we just talk for a hot second about how fucking dark the last episode of that series is? Like, I know it's supposed to be Poirot's last case, and I understand it's a very faithful adaptation, but also just like, we're not even going to talk about the episode necessarily so much as the story. Like, holy shit, Christie wanted to make sure this man was dead and would never fucking come back. And despite that, they keep ghost writing new Poirot novels, which I have not read. I've been meaning to at some point, but like she she really hated Poirot. She really did. So much so that she wrote a self-insert named Ariadne Oliver, who had a funny European detective that did weird shit that she hated. So she got to like write her frustration out on the page. And it's not even subtle. It's fucking blatant. She hated Poirot so much. I always thought it was weird that she got into romance novels, but once I grew up and like understood the character of Ariadne Oliver, understood that it was meant to be a I hate Poirot and this is why. um, it's like okay, I get it now. Like okay, here we go. The difficulty with the loading music. It's my computer loads too fast. Basically, she tried to kill him off before, I think. Um, and rather poignantly, Curtain was written uh, several years before, like even maybe a decade before she died. And she wrote several Poirot stories that took place before Curtain, um, but they were after she wrote Curtain. She just had it locked away to be published after her death. And I really do feel like the reason it was locked away to be published after her death was to be like, this guy is dead, do not bring him back. I'm taking him to the grave with me. I don't remember what I'm doing. We're talking to downstairs. She looks so ominous. That whole look is giving me very American McGee Alice character for some reason. Also, the belt. Curious choice of belt. There. Wow.
Mademoiselle, what a pleasure to see you.
Detective,
It is a rather late hour to be wandering the halls.
Oh, yes, of course. I do not feel myself, Detective.
If that is the case, you should be resting. Allow me to help.
No, that's quite all right. I will see to my duties and return to bed.
Lizzie, excuse me, Elizabeth. Lady Van den Bosch has been waiting for some time now.
Right? Yeah. It was reminding me very much of that.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Detective Poirot was just...
I'll see to the detective. You just head on up. Off you go.
Hey, bitch.
Good night, Detective.
You being so mean?
Bonne nuit, mademoiselle.
Okay.
I'm sorry about her, Detective. As you can see, she is still not back to her usual bubbly self.
This weekend seems to have taken quite a toll on her.
She'll be right as rain in a couple of days. Now, what can I help you with?
I got that. Yes, I can answer this. It's actually incredibly common. In fact, it would be most common. In, let's say, a 3-story house, with a basement. So, basement, floor 1, floor 2, attic. The servants would often live in the attic, in the upper regions of the house. And they would work in the basement for the most part. That's where the kitchens, the offices, any of the working parts of the house are. The first floor is the entertaining areas, basically the public-facing side of the house, where you would have the entryway, the salon, the foyer. I already said entryway, but whatever. The foyer, the salon, the dining room, and then the second floor would be where the family of the house would live themselves. That would be where their bedrooms are, and private areas of the house. So it was very common for servants to live above them. I don't know exactly when that started, but yeah, I can't pinpoint exactly when that would have started. It might actually even date back to some medieval era things. Don't quote me on it. And there's a spam. In a lot of early keeps, for instance, there would just be usually one big room, and it would be where everything happens. The lord and lady would sleep in that room with all of their knights, their retinue, and their servants. And this was often, a survival thing, or for warmth, really, because they could have just one room with one fire. And in general, the closer you were to the fire was the higher your status. So the lord and lady themselves would sleep very close to the fire. And then, the further away you are, the lower in the retinue you are. And then the servants would be up in the loft a lot of times. But then it started, the wealthier the family could be, the wealthier the lord and lady could be, they could have their own bedroom, perhaps. And then everybody else slept in the hall. And then that kept expanding outward for more and more, with more people having their own rooms, and then turned into like the late medieval, early Renaissance kind of castles and estates that we now kind of know. Don't quote me on that, though. I'm not a historian, but I'm pretty sure I have heard that as an argument before. But yes, downstairs staff would often live in the uppermost floor of the house in order to be relatively easily on hand for the family, since they're only usually a floor apart. The servant staff can come down at any moment to help with anything that may arise. Still kind of on call, if you will. And I think also as a heat saving measure, that way fires could be lit on the second floor where the family would sleep, and then heat would rise into the attic. Yes, no, that would be accurate. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it isn't impossible to have kitchens that would be on the first floor or the ground floor, along with the public rooms. It wasn't necessarily... That was one of those things that's like, if you're very wealthy, you could afford to have a kitchen in the basement and everything would happen in the basement. So you would have more space on the first floor, on the ground floor, for you and your guests to be entertained. And you could have this kind of sense that the house was running itself. I know you're West Coast based, so I'm trying to think of an example. Problem being that there aren't a ton, just because the West Coast didn't have as much money as we did over here during the late 19th century. But Newport has a lot of really good examples of this, because, we're talking about the Newport cottages, and a lot of times, especially in that vacation mode, when you're entertaining as your primary thing, that's the only thing you're doing out there, you want to give the impression that your house, like, the food just appears, and whatever you want just appears when it's needed. Like, the drinks will just show up. That there's an endless wine cellar, like, you won't ever see the kitchen. And so they actually, like, a great example is my favorite house, the Elms, where all the kitchens are in the basement. The working parts of the house are in the basement, and there's actually a second driveway with essentially a loading dock meant for deliveries to the kitchens, that's covered with a vine-covered trellis, so that if you're in the public areas of the house and you look out the windows on that side, all you see is just green. You don't see the driveway and you don't see the deliveries happening. So, it lends itself to this this fantasy that food just appears and it's all perfectly well done and no work goes into it, right? Incredibly classist. Salons for ladies and gents. One of the salons is turned into a formal dining room. Formal dining room space became a kitchen. Okay, yeah, that can work. I mean, in terms of after dinner ritual, and again, this is a lot based on the English style, so I'm not sure how much it applies in the French. But then again, French society got weird because of the revolution. So it would depend a little on the era of your chateau, right? Not that I know enough about French society anyway to tell you one way or the other. But it was common in the English style of entertaining that having guests over for dinner, once dinner was finished, the lady of the house would announce that she would bring the other ladies and the children, or the children would go to bed, really, or they wouldn't have actually been there in the first place. Never mind. But she would announce that she and the other ladies would retire to the parlor. There it is. They would retire to the parlor, the salon, some kind of slightly less formal sitting area, where they would usually have, tea or some kind of light beverage, while the men would stay in the dining room and have usually whiskey or port, some kind of heavier alcoholic heady thing. Sometimes they would also retire to another masculine space like a library, especially if it was in dark woods, or a billiards room or something like that. That was especially popular in the late 19th, early 20th century. So, oh yeah, like the way of entertaining was so regimented, and at the same time, just so incredibly opulent as to truly boggle the mind. Like, it was very common to not eat everything that was given to you. We look at Victorian menus of the wealthy, and they're like, 12, 15 courses, and 3 of them are like, prime rib, and then like a roast chicken, and something like, these big meals, and 3 of them are on the same 14-course meal. But in reality, you wouldn't necessarily be expected to eat everything on your plate. There was on the first level, there was a bit of a time limit. Is when your hostess would essentially declare a course done and ask for the next course to come out. You were done, whether you wanted to be or not. But it was also like not necessarily expected that you would eat your entire plate. It was just, God, that part especially bothers me. Even though my boyfriend has been absolutely wonderful sometimes and has done things like replicating parts, not the whole thing, parts of some of the meals on the Titanic, which were absolutely wonderful, delicious, and amazing. Like, I couldn't do, and I don't think I would do, an entire meal as it was served, because it would have been way too much. He did for my birthday last year. He did, yes. I'm trying to remember exactly the exact names of it. It was essentially a steak with a tarragon béarnaise sauce, chateau potatoes, which is like potatoes cooked in clarified butter. They're like little fingerling potatoes specifically that are skinned, not peeled, skinned, and cooked in clarified butter. Were delicious, oh my god, but they were apparently very time intensive. Like, oh god, he did such a good job. It was so sweet of him.
As if by magic you appeared when needed. I would like to speak with you and the remaining staff. If you could gather them in the staff pantry.
At this hour, Detective? Is that really necessary?
I shall be the one that determines what is and what is not necessary, and this is very much the former.
As you wish, Detective. I'll see if Inge has finished preparing for breakfast.
Hello, Ragnarok. Welcome back.
And Mademoiselle Rihanna?
Yes, of course. I'll fetch her from the kitchen. Elizabeth may be some time with the lady of the house. Perhaps you'd like to start with us?
Very well. I shall speak with Mademoiselle Elizabeth when her duties are complete.
While I am gathering the staff, Mr. Beckers is in the library. If you wish to join him, I could bring you both a nightcap.
I wish to keep a clear head, but there is something I wish to discuss with Monsieur Beckers.
Okay. Woo. Thank you both for resubs, by the way. Thank you. Walking up from a ball gown. Pride and Prejudice. Oh my god, 20 years. Holy shit. You're not wrong. Damn. Fucking old.
Monsieur Beckhouse, it is rather late. The other guests have already retired to their rooms.
Translation, what the fuck are you doing here? And I'm still trying to understand why a bust of Queen Victoria is in this house at all.
I didn't even see the time. It's easy to lose oneself in a library this impressive.
That is something we can agree on, monsieur.
I suppose I should be heading.
A moment, monsieur. There are some matters that we must discuss.
Oh, what is it, detective? I'm not sure what you mean.
Her proposal to make you somewhat of a star, a figurehead for the working man. What would you call that?
There was certainly no talk of making me a star. That is not the type of man I am. She wanted to write a piece on my work with the union, and I was happy to oblige. My speech? I'm not sure what speech.
You may save your false ramblings for your next audience. I am aware you spoke with the Major yesterday.
Whoever told you that has it wrong, detective.
Please, monsieur. The truth.
Don't lie to me, bitch. It's not gonna work.
Okay, fine. Yes, the Major and I spoke, but it was not for long.
Does not matter. You were saying you didn't speak, and you actually did. Like, oh no, I actually spoke to them, but just a little bit. Okay, sure. Ow. Oof. Ow. Ugh. Give myself like 15 more minutes and I get another ice pack.
I was trying to convince him to speak with Ernesto. It's time we brought the strikes to an end.
And that was best approached by a shouting match?
He wouldn't listen to a word I said. I spent so long preparing how I was going to convince him, but men like him are only swayed by one thing: money.
It is said that money is the root of all evil, but it can also be a rather powerful bargaining chip.
Well, he was bargaining with people's lives. If he had acted sooner, none of those men, my men, would have to die.
My men. My men. I thought you weren't... Okay.
A deal? It was an insult.
And that is why you did not sign it?
I didn't sign it because the workers deserve so much more, not his pathetic attempts to get them back to work.
Did you think there was a chance for a better deal to be made?
I know there was. He's a pompous swine that cares for only himself and filling his pockets.
Mademoiselle Conrad can be quite convincing, can she not?
She has certainly taken several wealthy business partners by surprise with her knowledge and prowess. She knows how to use her womanly powers to get what she wants.
That's a statement that feels very loaded up. Okay.
But she did not surprise or use you?
Me? Used me? Don't be ridiculous, detective. There were no games played at my expense.
Is a fan of his own voice. Just let him do his thing.
No, she just reminded me of what I was fighting for. And I stand by that. It was an insult.
A rather bold move to make such a decision on your own.
Yeah, how did that go?
I may not be perfect, but I've done everything I can.
Your efforts fell short in every respect. You claim to be the voice of the people, but you care about no one's voice or benefits but your own.
It's not as easy as just signing a piece of paper, Detective. It is a heavy weight to bear on one's shoulders. I consulted with others.
You yourself spoke of Mademoiselle Conrad's cunning in business.
And I told you, I was not one of her targets.
Tell me then, what was it she reminded you of? The acclaimed man of the people you would be known as if you pushed the factory owners for more?
It wasn't like that at all.
Don't tell me what it was
From
like.
where I am standing, it was she that was manipulating the terms of the deal, and you in the process. You were merely her pawn.
Okay, yes, I know. I shouldn't have listened to her. But what else could I do? Remain an unknown my whole life? I didn't mean for anyone to get hurt.
It may not have been your intention, but we both know the result. You rolled the dice with those men's lives for fame, and you lost.
Dick bag. Not a very good union organizer. By the way,
What does that have to do with anything?
I have often wondered about the competition siblings face in a large family.
When you're young, it is the best feeling to know you have family that will stand by you, without even being asked. It is not until everyone starts carving their own path that you realize you're walking yours solo, and those that were beside you are now miles away. My other brothers were the athletes of the family. They both played soccer, and were the infatuation of every teenage girl. I'm sure you have seen the type.
so you had a chip on your shoulder this whole time because your brothers got laid?
Oui, monsieur, but I can assure you that was not I.
Then there was me. Quiet, timid, a shadow of the Becker brothers. My voice and very presence was forgotten and ignored. Nothing I could say or do would ever reach the bar they had set. But I always knew I was destined for great things.
So, actually, fun thing about that. The original term for the game is actually soccer, as it was coined by the British. They only changed it to football after it became adopted as a word by Americans. Because originally it was association football, and they would drop the A and just use the first syllable, I guess you could say, and there's just add ER. So association football became soccer because you drop the A and SOC. Yeah. It's kind of silly in some ways, but yeah, it's hold on. It's a game that was born out of like the Eaton set anyway. Yeah. Then I guess the question is, when did football really... Okay, so football as a term is the first actual thing, but the word soccer originated as slang from Oxford as an abbreviation of association. There you go. All right. Da, 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 da. Yeah, the term soccer fell out of favor while England differentiated their language from America's, where the term soccer had become widely used. English in the 20th century due to growing American population. Okay, yeah. So at this time, soccer would have been... It would have been around. The word would have been around. I guess it would be kind of weird that he would be using soccer, because Becker is not English. He's Belgian. So, since soccer was an Oxford slang thing, it's just kind of weird. I mean, yeah, it is kind of weird that we use the word football for something that doesn't actually involve the feet
I
much.
no longer stood in the colossal ombre of my brothers. I could become my own man. When the position of union leader was posted, it was my chance to finally be heard. You hear politicians speak of the little or the common man? Well, that was me. And I knew what we wanted and what we needed. When I spoke, others listened. I held their gaze with a sense of pride, a sense that what I was doing was for the greater good. It was supposed to be my crowning achievement, lead the men to victory over the money-grabbing oppressors. But instead, all I did was lead them to their deaths.
Monsieur, it was not at your hands that these men died. The blame cannot lie solely on your shoulders. Those responsible will be punished for their crimes. That's human.
He will be remembered, but not the way he wanted. So that's never actually explained. It's not explained why the group of people are here together. I mean, it's a wedding. This is like an engagement party or the day before wedding kind of a thing. I don't know. And these are the couple's friends, supposedly. So yeah, that's how you get like a comtesse, a titan of industry, a newspaper owner, a union man, and a washed up veteran without a job. I don't know. It's a weird mix of people that doesn't always make sense. Yeah. Hello, hun. Yes, hello. Yeah, I mean, he's there because he's related. I guess that's true. Nah, it was all mean things. We're just being mean. But...
Aha. Huh.
Detective, what can we do for you?
You can help me by telling the truth, and in the process, help yourselves.
I really hate his red socks, actually, only because his pants are not long enough, and I cannot for the life of me figure out why.
Sorry, Detective. It's a bit late in the night for riddles.
It is no riddle, monsieur. If I do not receive the truth, you shall all be charged as accessories to murder.
Detective, I think maybe you have been locked in this house for too long. We have already...
You have told me a version, and now I require honesty. Monsieur Sterling, is there anything you would like to add to your story?
I'm not sure what you think I have done, Detective.
White shoe, black sock, shouldn't belong in the church.
Let us not string out this charade any longer.
From his associate. I've already told you, Detective. I don't know
That's a
who it
change
was.
in music.
Do not worry yourself on such details now. I suppose they were lucky to have called when they did. Otherwise, they may not have gotten through at all, with the telephone lines being down as of yesterday.
Aye, Detective. Lucky, I guess.
Carefully worded questions.
Whiskey?
You took a bottle of whiskey to the Major. You spoke with Monsieur Demire en route.
Aye, of course. It was a bottle he picked up from his last visit to Scotland. Rather smoky number from the Highlands. He was saving it for a worthy occasion. Drowning his sorrows must have been fitting enough.
Yes, it is apparently the Edwardian era, which is a little odd when you see certain people's clothing.
Or was it the one from the West Coast? You'll have to excuse my memory, Detective. It's not what it used to be. Oh, you found it. Thank you, Detective. I've been looking everywhere for it.
If I had lost a war medal, I would not stop until I found it.
It's not what you think. I was...
Exploiting a dead man's military achievements for your own personal gain?
What you see in this one?
Nothing of the sort. He asked me to clean them up. I must have dropped it into my pocket when I was putting them back. An honest mistake.
Is this going to be a giant swing and a miss for you, Poirot?
I wouldn't know. Probably.
Your father was in the military for many years. That is what you told me.
He was.
And your family still keep his medals?
They were sold.
And why was that, monsieur?
Is my family on trial now, Detective?
Might as well be.
Only you, monsieur. And I repeat my question.
Because we needed money.
Voila.
No, he keeps them safe with some of his old military documentation.
Is that a typical job for the head butler?
He trusts me to do a good job. I told him I used to clean my father's, so he asked me to do the same.
And where does he keep these items?
In the storage room. I know where everything is, so it's just easier if I fetch them for him as and when he needs them. It's certainly better than my last.
You are paid a fitting wage for the work that is asked of you?
I'm sure the lady of the house would not want me discussing it, but I should not complain.
That is not the most convincing answer, monsieur.
Between you and I, we all work very hard here, and it would be nice if we were rewarded for it.
Please don't go anywhere. If I require more information, I shall call on you again.
That has been that has really been my frustration with this reimagining of Poirot as a youngster. That, like, he's always described as this short, weird little Belgian man. And like there are some things that I can let go because he's young, right? Like maybe he's not quite as well-rounded yet because maybe he hasn't had as much time to eat what we know. He's a gourmand, so you know. But why is he so tall? He's so tall, and yet he wears the pants of a short man. Ah, we have to make some connections. Okay.
I must act on thought. I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction. I must take a different approach if I am to... This will not get me any closer to... Order and method. That is... I cannot see the logic in this. Another success. I never...
Staff recovering for the real time of death.
The pieces of the puzzle of... Come, my little grey cells. What a revelation!
Staff person impersonated the Major because they're hiding for the time of death because they're involved.
If you insist.
Please don't. Mademoiselle, I shall keep my questions brief.
You could get even shorter. You'll have to get a whole ass stepladder just to look at me in the eye.
I don't know what else I can tell you.
You have been honest with me so far. All I request is that you continue to do so.
Oui, détective. It was frantic in the pantry. We were working hard to make sure everything was up to scratch.
Go on.
Then Liz burst in, asking for Maman Ray's help.
Her help with what, exactly?
I don't know. She took Liz to one side, and I was needed in the salon. We spoke just after that in the pantry.
You did not question what she needed help with?
I was too busy. I love Liz, but she sheds a tear at almost everything these days. Although, I have never seen her look so pale.
Merci. I shall return if I have any further questions.
Take a quick moment to go get myself a new ice pack, and I will be right back. Okay, we are back. I heard ice cream. I already had ice cream. I can't have any more. I ate ice cream even though I ate a relatively large dinner and I probably shouldn't have had anything else to eat. But I was like, we're doing ice cream. Fuck it. Fuck it, it's happening. Okay, I am back and my butt is now cold and it feels nice. So I gotta talk to her. She's nice.
Mademoiselle, I shall be as quick and precise with my questioning as possible.
Okay. What do you need? Merci. He was a good man. Taken too early.
Forgive me, mademoiselle, for not extending them earlier, but I was not aware of your relationship.
He was my only brother. And he died doing what he believed was right. If I ever get my hands on who took him from me. You say the riots, but it was the strike he was part of. They started the riots, not the workers.
By they, you are referring to the security forces. They were brought in to keep the peace.
Security, huh? They were brought in to make an example of them. It was all peaceful until they arrived.
Why would they need to make an example?
So that the workers would stop rallying. No one is going to go on strike if they think they'll get killed. The security you talk of were armed and ready. The workers were pigs to the slaughter. What chance did they have? Yes.
This was before or after Archibald took him a bottle of whiskey.
The platforms again? Oh god. Oh yes. The social commentary in this game is so subtle and quiet. It really sneaks up on you. Yeah.
Before.
You are sure?
It may have been after.
The whiskey is kept in the cellar with all the alcohol.
It is.
Then you must have noticed him going into the cellar and returning with a bottle through the pantry, no?
Yes, I suppose I did. It must have been before then. What is there to say? Being locked away in the pantry, I don't see her for most of the day.
That may be, but she came looking for your help before dinner was served, did she not?
She wasn't feeling well, that's all.
And she came to you.
I told you, we are a family here. The girls come to Mama Reh if they have a problem, and I fix it.
When I saw her earlier, I must admit she was not looking herself. Perhaps I should check on her.
No, just leave the poor girl. She'll be fine after another bowl of my homemade soup. She just needs her rest.
Her eagerness to keep me from seeing Elizabeth does not sit comfortably. Yeah. Oh shit.
Merci, mademoiselle. That is all for now.
Is it maybe because Elizabeth is starting to feel some sense of guilt, and you're afraid that if she talks to me... Stand a chance. Alright.
Things are beginning to become clearer.
Inconsistencies.
Is there something I
Okay.
must act
So,
on
no.
thought? Order and method.
So, nope. Oh, covering for the real time of death. That makes sense, I guess.
Magnifique.
Oh, they fabricated the story because they may be involved.
I cannot see the logic.
Ah!
Some would say a lucky guess.
Staff are hiding the truth, and they're
I
involved.
should
There
not
we
be
go.
surprised
It's
by
like,
my
we
own
will get
skills
there.
of deduction.
Amnesia soup. The soup that makes you blind. Little cutie noise moment. Boop, 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 boop. And we have another one. Okay.
This will not get me any. Things are beginning to become.
Both greedy for Luke.
Is there something? I must take a different.
Nothing feels.
Come, my little grey cells.
Ow.
Is there
Oh, no,
something-
okay. This connects to here
The
to
pieces of
basically
the
be
puzzle
like,
are fun.
Inga isn't part of it. Okay. Oh, thank you. So glad we had that moment.
Another success.
So Elizabeth found the body.
What a revelation.
Rihanna helped her down. Elizabeth found the corpse.
Magnifique.
Discovering for a member of the staff.
I must take a different approach. Order and method. That.
Nope. Creme de la Edgar, otherwise known as roofies for cats.
Some would say a lucky guess.
Act Elizabeth. Yeah, okay.
I must act on thought. Come, my little grey cells. I should not be surprised by my own...
Interesting. How are we getting here? And then you figured it out, and then you're gonna like, I'm gonna go back to my room. Where we do another one of these. Okay.
Magnifique.
Elizabeth is the murderer. Holy shit. That feels like a bit of a jump, but okay. Sure. She's gonna be dead tomorrow morning, though. What are those big thumping noises? Storage room. One everybody keeps talking about, but nobody knows where it is. Really booming sounds. Gasp! It's the room that I've already been in? I've been in this room. Okay, we're doing a mind map right now. Okay.
Monsieur Sterling.
Oh,
Oh, look, secret door, right there. Not hard to spot.
Please, I eagerly await to hear what reason you give for being in the storage room at this hour.
A butler's job is never...
I am no fool, monsieur. You have spun enough stories this weekend.
Honestly, Detective, you don't trust anyone.
That's the point.
And with good reason.
I've been thinking about my time with the family.
I often think on fond memories, but it does not take me to a storage room in the middle of the night.
There are many memories held within these walls. I just wanted to see them again. I didn't realize the noise I was making.
Obviously. Were you preoccupied looking for another of the Major's medals?
Of course not. I already explained.
No, monsieur. You attempted to dupe me again into believing one of your stories.
Please, Detective. I know you know how it ended up in my possession. I was just trying to get some extra money together to send home. I can't lose this job. If Lady Van den Bosch found out...
Theft of a medal would be the very least of your problems.
Deceive? I'm sorry that I lied to you about the medal.
Would you care to explain the fake telephone call? It was purely for my benefit, no?
Why would I fake a telephone call?
The same reason that Mademoiselle Rihanna dressed in the Major's jacket in the snow, to allow not only the guests but me to believe the Major was still alive.
I didn't kill him, Detective.
No.
I know, monsieur, but I also know that you helped the one that did to cover their tracks.
It wasn't like that. We were just trying to help. She had no part in it. You never let on. How long have you known it was her?
The whole time he lied.
Monsieur, I am Detective Hercule Poirot. I only show my hand when I deem it necessary.
And he just was like, I'm not going to say that I knew this whole time or that I just found out 5 minutes ago, but I am going to not say that I just found out 5 minutes ago. Kind of the same thing, right?
You will be taking her away then.
She will stand trial for what she has done.
But you don't know the full story. She is just a servant in this house. If she is arrested, that will be the end for her.
If Mademoiselle was only protecting herself, as you both have claimed, she will surely be found innocent.
The Major's military storage box.
The one that stored his medals.
Amongst other things, yes.
And those other things are?
I had to protect her. If you found it when searching the study, you would have carted her off then and there.
Whatever it is you have hidden, it will not remain that way for much longer. I need a moment.
I mean, the big scrape's right here. Not that hard. And look, there's another one over here.
Huh. Huh.
There's something like two things to interact with here. Oh, because mind map, right? The other thing. Okay.
I cannot see the logic in this. The pieces of the puzzle of... Some would say a lucky get. Aha. Ah.
Yep, nothing. Right, definitely nothing. Hey, visited all locations of the game. Woo!
Mm-hmm. Oh. Hmm.
Okay. In the event of my death, I hereby appoint my wife, Cassandra Vandenbosch, the executor. Leave the remaining wealth held in the Vanderbosch name to my only daughter, Angeline. The outstanding debts, expenses of my last illness, funeral expenses, administration costs be paid from the Vanderbosch account in the National Bank of Belgium. Okay. It's kind of a whatever. What do we got?
Another success. What a revelation! Things are beginning to become clearer.
They are? One of them is not the major. Ah.
There is no use lying anymore. He always had his regiment lighter that he received in the war on his person.
And yet, it was not his regiment emblem that was engraved on it.
My father's. It must have fallen out of my pocket. You still have it, detective.
Monsieur, you have stashed evidence, manipulated a crime scene, obscured my investigation, and yet it is a lighter that you worry about most?
I mean, he's not wrong. You kind of have some messed up priorities
If
here.
it is my path to end up behind bars for what I have done, so be it. It is Elizabeth that you cannot allow to be locked up without the truth being told. I have heard how you fought for that young maid before. Fleurette, is it? I only ask that you do the same for Elizabeth. You found it.
Even the secret area that has been created here is not concealed enough to stop.
You found the
Detective
secret area?
Poirot.
Be like, I opened the wall. You watched me go through the wall.
I couldn't just leave it at the scene for you to find.
The Major was killed by his own knife. The knife that protected his life during the war would eventually be the one that ended it.
You just entered my room through
Yeah.
the wall.
He had
Yeah,
hold of her arm.
exactly.
What else was she meant to use to get him off of her? She didn't plan any of it, Detective. She was only defending herself.
That is what Mademoiselle told you?
She did, and I believe her. You think you knew the Major, but you had no idea. He was a monster and had more secrets than all of us combined.
That may be true, but that does not excuse what she has done.
Put yourself in her shoes for a minute. If a man like that had attacked me the way he did Lizzie, I would have done a lot worse to him.
I need a moment.
Okay. What do we got?
The pieces of the puzzle.
from the window. The knife.
I should not be surprised by
there
my
we go.
own skill.
There is no use lying anymore. When you asked me yesterday about seeing someone out there, I thought the game was up.
That does not explain what you are doing out there.
When Lizzie took me to the study, the knife was still in the Major's chest, and I knew I had to get rid of it. I dropped it out of the window, knowing no one would be going outside. It was fine for the time being, but I couldn't risk it being found when the snow melted.
So you collected it under the cover of darkness and stowed it away in here where you thought no one would find it.
After your questioning in the pantry, I knew you were onto something, and I couldn't leave it here.
And where did you plan on moving it to?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
There is no use. Why what? Why I would risk everything to help Lizzie?
Exactement.
Because she is family. If you were in that position, you would do the same.
I can assure you, monsieur, that I would not.
Then perhaps that says something about you, Detective. I would do anything for her, for any of my staff.
Even if it means crossing the boundaries of the law.
Without question. Aye, Detective, but please, you have to help Lizzie. It was all an accident. She doesn't deserve to spend the rest of her days behind bars because of that man.
So where are we going with this? What's
If
happening
she is
here?
put behind bars, it is because that is what the courts have decided upon.
Detective, you can't be so cruel.
It is not cruelty, monsieur. It is the law.
Okay.
This will not get me any... I cannot see the logic in this. This will not get me any... What a revelation!
Job.
Another success.
Ensure the job was done.
Things are beginning to become...
Security attacked first. As they attacked, Luke
Some
died.
would say a lucky Magnifique.
Okay.
What a revelation.
Being blackmailed over war crimes. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. You are right.
Detective Poirot, I'm glad you're awake.
Bonjour, mademoiselle. It has certainly not been a night of peaceful sleep.
Please, detective, I'm not sure I can take any more surprises like last night.
I'm afraid this may be the most upsetting of them all.
You have found Felix's killer, haven't you?
I have. And the guilty party will certainly come as a shock.
Detective, please.
It was Mademoiselle Elizabeth that was behind the Major's death.
You must be mistaken. Elizabeth could not do such a thing.
I assure you I am not. It is something I spent much of last night deliberating. When you spoke of the telephone lines being out of order, it made me question
oh my
the
God.
conversation I thought I had heard Monsieur Sterling make with the Major before connecting the call to him.
But it hasn't been working all weekend.
Exactement, mademoiselle. That is when I knew I had once again been lied to.
She was meant to be resting in the staff quarters. She has not been well.
I am afraid that was yet another lie, orchestrated to keep her from incriminating herself.
Why would you think that, detective?
I only managed a few words with her before we were quite abruptly interrupted by Monsieur Sterling.
I must admit, he has a habit of speaking over the other staff.
It was much more than merely disturbing our conversation. It was done with the intention to prevent Mademoiselle saying something that she should not.
I feel like we're slowly getting around to the point of Angeline being like, I know she did it. I just hoped you wouldn't find out, and I don't want to press charges or something.
So, Elizabeth killed Felix, and then Archibald helped her cover it up?
Or maybe she's just gonna take it at face value. Never mind.
In its simplest form, oui. I have heard it directly from the horse's mouth.
You have spoken with Elizabeth already? Did she admit to it?
Not Elizabeth, but Monsieur Sterling.
I wasn't. What were you doing in there, detective?
It was Monsieur Sterling that I found in there. I was taken by some surprise to hear anyone awake at that hour.
What on earth was he doing?
He claimed he was merely reminiscing of his time with the family.
You don't believe him?
It did not take long for me to uncover the truth of why he was there, and the location of the Major's murder weapon.
Hidden area?
A room that held all of the Major's secrets.
I had no idea. Did you discover the reason for his blackmail?
I did. Were you aware he was dishonorably discharged?
Oh, big yawns. Constant big yawns.
Dishonorably? What does that mean? Yes, Gideon told me about the conversation you had. It is really quite upsetting.
Zachariah was adamant of the Major's cruelty during the war, but the extent was not known until now. He killed a number of prisoners, men that were friends of Zachariah.
Surely not. He would not do such a thing. They must have been trying to escape.
I am afraid not. They were in fact unarmed.
Oh, detective.
It is the reason he was discharged, denied his military pension, and I believe the reason he fled England.
He had been such an important part of my life for so long, but I feel like I hardly knew him. Innocence? You said it was she that killed him.
It was her hand that held the knife, but he was quite insistent it happened in self-defense.
In all of the years I have known her, she has barely even raised her voice. I cannot believe she would do something like that out of malice.
The whole truth cannot be known until Mademoiselle Elizabeth has told her story.
Will you allow me to be present?
I think that is an excellent idea. I hope your presence will calm her and will perhaps allow her to speak more freely.
Please, detective. I know she has done a terrible thing, but I beg of you to give her the time to explain herself.
I will offer Mademoiselle Elizabeth the fair trial that she deserves, as I would with any suspect.
Thank you, Detective Poirot.
Would you bring Mademoiselle Elizabeth to the study, where we will not be disturbed?
Of course, I'll find her immediately.
Mademoiselle Elizabeth, merci for joining us.
Miss Angeline said you requested to see me urgently.
We have some serious matters to discuss, and I would like to waste no further time.
Oh, yes, Detective. Still not quite myself.
I was surprised when Monsieur Sterling hurried you to assist Madame Vandenbosch last night.
I should not have avoided my duties for so long. The house does not stop because I'm feeling a little under the weather.
That is true, but you cannot be expected to complete all your tasks if you are not in the right frame of mind.
Honestly, Detective, it was best for me to not sit and wallow anymore. Have you been able to uncover who the blackmailer is?
The blackmailer's identity has been established, and they will pay the price for their crimes.
Wonderful news, Detective. You can put it all behind you now. You must be thrilled.
I would not say thrilled, knowing that such a close friend has betrayed us.
Mademoiselle is correct. What I have learned over this weekend is that people are not always as they appear. While they may give an impression of being a friend or ally,
They all did it,
be something completely different.
except for me. But if you're wondering who killed Mr. Body, it was Mr. Green in the hall with the revolver. Now I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife. Ba-da-ba-da, ba-da-da-da. Sorry. I'm so excited because I bought tickets to go see that movie. The Emerson Colonial is doing a showing of it on Halloween, and it's being hosted by Leslie Ann Warren, the woman who played Miss Scarlet, who is my favorite character in the film. And so I got VIP tickets so we can do a meet and greet with me in my Miss Scarlet costume. I'm super excited. Super excited.
And,
I
what
spent
have
a
you made?
lot of money to do it, but
Well, mademoiselle, that is why I have asked you here now.
I'm not quite sure what you want me to say, Detective.
Your honest opinion is all I ask, and, s'il te plaît, do not hold back. No one...
We only spoke when there was something in the house to be done. We did not speak of interests or pastimes.
You knew of his work with Monsieur de Silva?
I only know what is required of me to know, and that is very little.
But you were aware of his work as security at Monsieur de Silva's factory.
I was.
The factory your beloved Luke worked at, before he was cruelly taken from this world.
Yes, Detective. Yes, that is where he spent his last moments. Standing shoulder to shoulder with his fellow workers.
The resulting riots were a terrible tragedy, one that I hope we will not have to see or experience again. Something that could have been avoided had the Major and his team done what was required of them.
Nobody deserved to die that day. Not my Luke.
Officers. Ugh.
Detective, what kind of question is that?
It is a straightforward one. Mademoiselle, if there is something you wish to tell me, now is that time.
I'm sorry, Detective, I just don't know how to answer it.
Let us consider what we know of the Major. He fronted the militia that attacked the workers at the strike. You were aware of this? You finally had someone to blame for Luke's death. Someone conveniently located in the same house, alone in his study.
No, Detective. It wasn't like that.
Tell me what happened with the Major on the evening of his death.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I was only in here trying to prove what I heard Mr. Beckers say. I was going to report him, I swear. Miss Angeline, you believe me, don't you?
I want to. I am still trying to understand it all myself. Why don't you start from the beginning?
Start from the very beginning. Is it a very good place to start?
I was delivering Miss Angeline's dress to her room when I heard Mr. Beckers arguing with the Major in his study. They were ever so loud. I thought the whole house would have been listening to what they were saying. Mr. Beckers was talking about the factory strikes and how it was the Major's fault. He told him that if he didn't own up to his crimes, he would go to the newspapers.
I cannot imagine the Major would have taken kindly to Monsieur Becker's threat.
He didn't. He called him some rather uncouth names before Mr. Beckers left and went downstairs. I made sure to keep out of sight. After the altercation between the Major and Master Gideon, you went to speak with him outside, and I thought I could look around his study without anyone knowing. I had to know for sure. If it was true, he deserved to be held accountable.
And did you find the proof you are looking for?
I found a payment from Mr. De Silva, but there was nothing incriminating about that. I was so nervous. I felt like my heart was beating out of my chest.
And then you saw the black...
I recognized the writing on the envelope. I couldn't believe it. How could he do such a thing to Angeline? To the family that had taken him in?
Common sense would determine the Major was another victim of the blackmailer.
If I'd have used common sense, I wouldn't have been snooping around alone in his study in the first place. I heard the footsteps in the hall, and before I could move, the Major was standing in front of me, demanding to know why I was going through his belongings without permission. I tried to come up with an excuse, but nothing came out, and when he saw the letter in my hand, it was like Dr. Jekyll turning into Mr. Hyde. I tried to move around him towards the door, but he hurled something towards me, and it crashed against the wall.
That would explain the damage to the wall.
I froze. I have never been so scared in all my life. I thought he was going to kill me there and then.
And you thought you would beat him to it?
Oh, Detective, you make it sound as though I had it all planned. He lunged forward and grabbed me by the arm. I tried to push him away, but he was too strong. His grip just got tighter and tighter. If only you had seen the look in his eyes, I dared not even scream. I saw the sheath on his belt. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to hurt him, but he wouldn't let go of me.
So you took your opportunity to put an end to it all.
I just wanted to get him off me. I didn't want to hurt him. I reached for it and I jabbed it at him. His grip instantly loosened and I ran straight out the door and didn't look back.
You did not even look to see what state you had left him in?
She had just been attacked, Detective.
Oui, please. Continuez.
I ran down to the pantry looking for Rahana. She took one look at me and knew something was wrong. I explained to her what had happened and she went to find Archie. She said he would know what to do. We went back to the study and he was still lying there, motionless. Archie said that no one would believe me. That if someone like me killed someone like him, I would be sent straight to the gallows. He left the letter so you would find it. He said that if people knew what the Major was really like, then they wouldn't care what happened to him.
So I am to believe that it was Monsieur Sterling and Mademoiselle Rihanna that cleaned the scene and orchestrated a plan that included a fake telephone call and dressing as the Major so that he may be seen. You had nothing to do with that.
I swear I had no idea that is what they had done. Archie just told me to stay out of sight. I am no master criminal.
Then Monsieur Sterling and Mademoiselle Rihanna will be charged for obstruction of justice and impeding my investigation.
Okay, this is gonna
Please,
be...
Detective, they were only trying to help me.
If they wished to help you, they should have brought all of this to my attention immediately instead of committing more illegal acts.
Surely you haven't forgotten what happened with Florette. She was only accused of stealing a bracelet. I killed a man.
It is a day I have not forgotten, mademoiselle, even for a moment.
Without your help, I don't stand a chance. Please, Detective Poirot, you are the only one that can help me.
Oh, Elizabeth, why didn't you come to me?
I didn't think you would believe me. I felt so guilty. And when it was announced yesterday that he was a victim of the blackmailer, I wanted to tell you everything. I came to find you last night, Detective, but Archie stopped me. I'm sorry.
Conversation unlocked, finally. Alright, what mystery are we solving at this point? We have everything figured out. I don't understand. Hold on, there's apparently another conversation we can have right now.
Oh, yep. I don't know where it is.
If you have been honest with me until now, I ask that you continue.
Didn't we find the knife?
I'm sorry, I really don't know. Archie dropped it out of the study window and he said he would deal with it. I couldn't bear to touch the thing.
I need a moment.
Okay.
Things are beginning to become clear.
Okay, got it. Yay, we solved the case. Ooh. I don't feel good about that, but we did. We solved the case. Ooh.
Oh, yes, Detective. Please, I was only protecting myself. I didn't want to hurt him. He just wouldn't let me go.
Oui, mademoiselle. I know. Mademoiselle tells quite the harrowing story.
I cannot imagine the Major acting in such a way. But Elizabeth could not make up such a story.
After learning what I have about the Major's character this weekend, I would not question the lengths he would go to in order to keep his secret hidden. I know that you share a close bond with Mademoiselle Elizabeth, but you cannot allow your personal feelings to taint your belief of what took place.
She has committed a terrible crime, but she will live with that for the rest of her life. She is not a cold-blooded killer.
If what she says of the Major's attack is true, she acted in self-defense. And in the law's eyes, a crime has not been committed.
What's the straightest thing you've ever done? I killed a guy. That's very straight. Very straight.
I will do everything I can to make sure her story is heard and a fair trial is conducted.
Events are true. Major having fallen fit rage. Prospect. Okay. She put herself in dangerous position. Small part of me. She failed to find justice for her loved. Telephone line is not working. Following my findings.
Mademoiselle, it is time I address the house.
The final parlor thing.
Are you sure? What will you say? What if they do not listen?
I can assure you, they will.
Elizabeth was right, though. She's just a servant. What if they...
Mademoiselle, When Detective Poirot speaks, they will listen.
Old.
Would you ask the guests to convene in the library?
Of course. And what of the staff?
I have told Monsieur Starling to remain in the staff quarters with the others. When the authorities arrive, they shall be dealt with. You have been of great help to me throughout my investigation, and now that it is over, I have one final request.
You only need to ask.
While I am speaking with the guests in the library, would you watch over Mademoiselle Elizabeth in my room?
You don't think she will try and escape, do you?
In her position, I do not know what she might try. But I trust with you there, any potential ideas of such a thing will be squashed.
Alrighty then. Denouement.
Detective,
finish this
you
tonight,
have
by the
spent
way.
more time making us sit and wait for you than anything else.
Madame Van den Bosch, if you think I have spent my time focused on anything besides uncovering the Major's killer, you are sorely mistaken.
I'm sure you will be eager to share your findings with us then.
All in good time, Madame. Firstly, to understand the truth of what has occurred this weekend, one must know the timeline of events that not only preceded the Major's death, but succeeded.
We are all well aware of what happened before, Detective. You can save your breath.
You are only aware of what the guilty parties wanted you to believe. But now I shall apprise you to the true events. The reason for us all being here, you know. The altercation between Monsieur Demire and the Major, you know. The body of Monsieur Hagen was found while we were all sat enjoying a most delicious meal. That you also know. But what was kept from us all was that his body lay on the study floor for far longer than was thought.
It was that servant. She found him.
S'il te plaît, monsieur. It was indeed young Inga that found the Major's body lying lifeless in the study.
So it was her.
Monsieur, I will not allow for any further interruptions.
Shut the fuck up.
I return to the Major's body. If we are to believe the scene that we were presented with, the Major must have been killed during the first course of our meal, a meal that none of you left, even for a moment. Speaking in the evening, you all confirmed one another's alibis, and although there was doubt in the validity of some, I confirmed that they were indeed all true. What I could not understand was how a man came to be found dead, and every guest accounted for at the time of death. That is until I questioned the latter. Monsieur Beckers, I shall now allow you to speak. You saw the Major smoking a cigar in the snow. Is that true?
It is.
False. You saw what you were meant to see. Someone in the Major's coat standing outside, giving the illusion that the Major was still very much alive. Monsieur da Silva, on the afternoon of the Major's death, do you recall hearing a telephone ring?
Now that you mention it, I have not heard a single ring all weekend.
Correct. The telephone lines have been down for the duration of our stay, meaning the telephone call that was received and promptly directed to the Major's study was yet another act of trickery and deceit. But it did not end there. When I entered the study for the first time, it was obvious someone had already been there and falsified the scene to stage a burglary and clear away important evidence, including the murder weapon. What followed was an investigation that had already been hindered. But even those lengths were not enough to derail me for long.
I think we have all had enough of your self-praise, Detective. Perhaps you would like to tell us who killed him now?
Madame, as I'm sure you would expect, it is not as simple as that. What many of you do not know is the discussion that was had between the Major and Monsieur Beckers earlier that day.
What has that got to do with anything? I told you I didn't kill him.
That I know to be true. What you do not know is that it was not only his ears that heard your spoken words.
I hope you are not implying I had something to do with it.
No, madame, there was another. Mademoiselle Elizabeth. You are all aware that the Major was hired by Monsieur de Silva to front the security during the workers' strikes. What very few of you know is that it was the Major's order that instigated the vicious attacks on those unarmed men and resulted in numerous deaths, including Mademoiselle Elizabeth's fiancé, Luc. Monsieur Beckers confronted the Major, declaring that he was to hand himself in. That is what Mademoiselle Elizabeth overheard. Now, knowing the truth, she waited until the Major was away from his study. After he stepped outside following the confrontation with Monsieur Demire's fist, it looked to be the perfect opportunity, or so she thought. The Major returned and found her looking for the proof she required to hand him over to the authorities.
It's a little weird
The
having
maid bumped him off. Why hasn't she been arrested?
the parlor
events that
scene
followed
here
this
after we already
are
did
not
all of
those
this.
of a cold-blooded murder,
Kind of like,
but one of a young girl that had no other option but to protect
No.
her own life.
Sounds to me, Detective, like you have taken a shine to this young girl and would rather protest her innocence than arrest her for murder, the crime she has committed.
Jeez, this is gonna make for a juicy story.
Mademoiselle, I ask you this. You have seen the Major's anger before, oui?
What if I have?
How do you think he would have reacted if someone was to find proof that he had committed a terrible act, and that if made public, would surely result in his incarceration? Exactement.
It is quite the story you have told, Detective, but all I have heard is that Elizabeth overheard a conversation blaming the Major for her fiancé's death, and she murdered him in revenge. A servant killing a man that is as revered as he was. She will face the noose.
I am not denying that a man has lost his life, but it is not the crime of murder that you all believe. While the Major did not deserve to die in such a way, it was his actions towards Mademoiselle Elizabeth that drove her to defend herself in any way she could. Mademoiselle Elizabeth will be punished, but we will let the law decide the severity of her punishment.
She has played you like a fiddle, Detective, acting the innocent victim. She will be arrested and hanged for her crime, like every other cold-blooded killer.
Here.
Give her what she deserves.
wow.
The girl has got to pay for what she's done.
Yep. That's... Okay, yep. They have all forgotten their own perceptions of the Major, the terrible crimes he has committed, and what he has done to them all in one way or another. Because they're part of the upper class, and she isn't. Yep. Classism overrides the truth. I must help them to see how their past actions have led to this unfortunate circumstances and losses of life. Good fucking luck. You think they're going to give up their privilege for this?
Those of
luck.
you that are calling for the hanging of Mademoiselle Elizabeth, have you forgotten the roles you played? Your actions have been far from innocent.
Look, Detective, I see where you are going with this, but it's not going to work. So maybe the strikes were down to De Silva and Beckers. But don't try and drag me into their mistakes.
Mademoiselle Conrad, if you are so confident of your innocence, perhaps we should begin with you.
You don't need to imply it's only me that does. Ask any of my journalists, they'll say the same.
Even if in the process people are hurt? You knew the situation surrounding the strikes, and only sought to swell the anger in people and create
We're
further
gonna make
chaos.
some people angry. Dot, dot, dot.
Mademoiselle, you so often have something to say. Now is not the time for silence.
You really are delusional.
Maybe you should just keep your theories and claims to yourself. You obviously have no idea what goes on in my world. I would say stick to honest police work, but it seems that it's not in your field either. Look, it's...
Mademoiselle, I do not have time for your excuses. Do you wish to state your direct involvement, or should I?
It's not... Okay, fine. Yes, the story was going nowhere. There was a deal on the table, and it was going to be done and dusted. Everything you said is true. I wanted the story. The scoop that would have blown the others out of the water. I never wanted anyone to get hurt. But I can see what I did wasn't right. I didn't think you had this side in you. I can see now why Angeline asked for you personally. You're not like other cops. It's clear it's the law and doing the right thing through and through with you. If you say it was self-defense, I believe you.
We can't just forget what that girl has done. It's not Jackie's fault or any of
And
ours.
you piece of shit.
Monsieur Beckers, you are the last person I expected to defend Mademoiselle Conrad.
Journalism code of conduct, bitch. I know, right?
We talked only last night, and
Well, she's a
correct me if
corporate
I am
owner
wrong,
more than
but
she
you
is a
have
journalist,
already
I feel
declared
like.
the role you played, to me at least.
Yes, we talked. It's just not fair of you to attack Jackie like that, putting words in her mouth until she succumbs to your plan.
Machine will not review the results. An ally, okay.
Detective, I'm afraid you're misunderstood. That is not how it was. It was not my intention for things to escalate as they did. I could not have predicted that would happen. Jackie was documenting everything to do with the strikes. She wanted our story to be heard and wanted to know how I was handling the negotiations.
He literally just admitted to planting the story. She just in front of you. Okay.
And they were handled by yourself?
Naturally. If I cannot handle simple negotiations, I am not fit to be in the position I am in. I was only pushing for what my men deserved, what they needed. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, Detective. Surely you must know that. Nothing is ever simple, Detective. I'm sure you understand that better than anyone. You're right, Detective. I have
Yeah,
tried
nailing
so
it.
to deny
All
that
right.
part, but I know only too well that my decisions led to the death of those men. I know I cannot excuse what I've done. I just want you all to know that I am not a hateful or malicious man. I only wanted to prove that I was the right man. I have lived in other shadows for so long. I thought I would be able to finally step into the light and be the one that everyone remembered, not forgot. Monsieur da Silva offered me a deal and I turned it down. I thought I was doing right by the workers. But it was only myself I was thinking about.
What more proof do you need? He said it himself. I made a generous offer to reach a resolution, and he turned his nose up at it.
And the audio quality is vastly different now.
It was not that simple, though. Oui, an offer was made, but Monsieur Beckers and the workers would never have been forced into that position had their working conditions been satisfactory to begin with.
This is outrageous! Do you plan on blaming everyone for doing their jobs? I suppose it makes you feel better about yourself, doesn't it?
Blackmail, that was a private conversation behind closed doors. Cannot imagine he'd be forthcoming in front of the other guests. Going to need some convincing to admit his faults again.
It may be a big deal to you, but I am used to work as not being happy with something. And most of the time, that unhappiness is directed at me. When you're in charge of your own factory, you'll understand. I handle the situation the best I could. If you think otherwise, maybe you have proved us all right that you aren't the great detective you claim to be. You said
God
it,
damn it.
anonymous. I don't know them, and it doesn't sound like they know me. When you have something people want, money, they will do anything, including constructing lies to get their hands on it.
Monsieur da Silva, you seem to have forgotten our previous conversations.
I recall them just fine, thank you. A police officer trying to manipulate facts to fit his own agenda. Shocking. Do you really think this is the first time blame has fallen at my feet?
Why is it letting me continue if I've gotten 3 wrong in a row?
Hard before to even convince themselves of what they are saying.
Have you not learnt enough already from having your factories closed? If you have any hope to return to normality, you must admit your faults and accept the repercussions.
I may have been a little harsh with my staff. I only wanted to prepare.
3 wrong, 1 right, and I still won? Okay.
I was never given the opportunities that they have today, and I succeeded. All they do is demand more and more at the factories and at the house. How am I meant to keep a good profit if every franc is going to them?
I don't know. Maybe don't have that much money?
I offered what I could. I was willing to meet in the middle. But maybe that wasn't enough. Swallowing one's pride is no easy feat. But if it means that a young girl will receive fair judgment, I am prepared to do it.
Merci, monsieur, for your honesty. Admitting your responsibility is an honorable move.
What now, detective? Is this absurdity going to continue much longer?
I'm kind of surprised she is not, or maybe she is the final boss. I don't know. Here we go.
Even after all your attempts, detective, Felix was still murdered. Self-defense or not, she chose to hide what she had done because she knew what she had done was wrong. And she will be punished for it.
It was not choice to hide anything, madame. If in her position, I ask, what would you have done? The Major has already furiously thrown an object at you, barely missing your head, and now has hold of your arm.
I wouldn't have driven a knife into him, that I can tell you for sure. She is no fool. She intended to kill, not to defend.
Let's just work with her before. If I'm going to sway her into seeing that Elizabeth had no option, persuade her that the Major's action is what she did. The thing.
Quite presumptuous of you to assume violence is in his nature.
Putting my own feelings towards the Major aside, he was not an honorable man, at least at some time in his life. He must have been for you to allow him in your house for so many years.
Ooh.
So, even you confirm he had a history of aggression.
I'm sure sure that is none
it.
of my business. Likewise, it is none of yours.
The Major shot and killed a number of unarmed prisoners as they were bound and terrified, posing no threat. His actions are unforgivable and should not be defended by anyone.
You judge him so harshly, but I return the question. What would you have done in his position?
Not killed bound and innocent bound prisoners that are not armed, maybe?
He had made mistakes. I will not deny that. In those moments when a decision had to be made,
What would you have
it
done?
fell to him, and he did what he
Maybe
saw
not
fit.
shot defenseless people?
S'il te plaît, madame. I ask that you consider everything you know of the Major carefully.
He was not always like that. The man that I called a friend would never have done what he has. I cannot allow another innocent person to be punished for his vicious and barbarous behavior.
You have seen the Major act in a similar manner as I described before, haven't you?
Pass the
What was the
denouement
outcome then?
flawlessly. Apparently that was flawless. I don't think that was, but okay, I'll take
You
it.
have convinced me that I am wrong, in both my opinion on Elizabeth's punishment and in the friendships I keep. Is that not enough for you?
Not when a potential crime has been committed, and I fear an innocent party may have been punished for it.
He was just a boy. I told him to stop, but he was like a wild animal.
The confrontation with Mademoiselle Elizabeth was not the first time he has come close to killing another.
It was following the officers' ball. A young man, no older than 16, stopped us on the street, begging for some change. Felix pushed him away, but he was persistent. He only wanted a few coins. Like a flash, Felix snapped and wouldn't let go of him. He would not stop punching him. I have never seen anything so brutal.
But he was never charged for the attack.
Felix called the captain at the station and said that the boy had tried to rob him, and he was merely defending himself. The boy was thrown behind bars without a second thought. It was a full week before the bruises on Felix's knuckles finally faded.
And even after witnessing such a brutal assault, you still support him. You still believe that he had not attacked Elizabeth.
The days following, he showed no signs of remorse, no apology to him or to me. I blamed it on the amount he had had to drink. But when you began talking about him finding Elizabeth in his study, I somehow knew it had happened again.
Had you been open about the Major's temper, this could all have been avoided. When you tell the court the truth, Mademoiselle Elizabeth's self-defense plea cannot be ignored.
Just when I thought I could not see a more spineless move.
Excuse me?
You allowed a bully and thug to remain in your house and endanger your family.
I'm sorry, Margot, but I am struggling to understand why you have involved yourself in this affair.
I'm surprised you can hear me way up there on that high horse of yours.
So much for friends, right?
How dare you speak to me in that way? Who I decide to keep in my house is my decision and no one else's.
I can see that. Murderers, thieves, and extortionists are all acceptable, it seems.
And blackmailers, too. Just saying.
Countess, I have talked at length of the Major's death, but not the reason for my invitation in the first place. When I last gathered you all together, I spoke of a blackmail ring that was rife in the area. and then of the letter that the Major had received. Mademoiselle Angeline requested my help personally after she received such a letter threatening her family name. She felt I was the only one that could uncover the truth. And uncover the truth I have.
Get on with it, detective. Who dared try and extort my family and then have the gall to allow me to welcome them into my home?
If it was not for the honesty of a young servant, I would perhaps still be looking for the
For goodness sake, it was me.
No, all right. Well, I don't have to. All right. Thank you.
Margot, how could you?
While it looked as though the Countess was helping the young women at the shelter, she was in fact only finding them positions of employment in wealthy homes to gather information on them and learn secrets that she would ultimately be able to use against them. Monsieur da Silva fell victim to her network of moles and was in turn blackmailed. It was quite the prosperous setup you had, knowing that they would not be prepared to lose their social standing if a secret was to find its way from where it had been hidden for so long.
That cannot be true, Margot. How could you do such a cruel thing?
That is rich, coming from you.
You are one of my oldest friends.
High and mighty, Madame van den Bosch. You think you can do what you wish when you wish it and there will be no repercussions. You are as bad as all of them.
All right. I might actually be on her side. Hold on. You're bringing me back around, sweetie.
If I do not get a straight answer out of you, I will march you to the police station myself.
I'm surprised it took the Major this long to start living with you. He must have been on the edge for some time.
How dare you speak to me like that? In my own home.
A home you share with the father of your daughter for so many years, and she still remains none the wiser.
All right. She's coming with the receipts today. Okay.
You have no right.
Maman!
Angeline? Have you heard what she has admitted to? She is merely trying to make herself...
Is what she says true? Felix, he was my father? That is the secret that the letter was talking about, isn't it? You told me that we had nothing to hide. Detective Poirot, were you aware of this?
Oui, mademoiselle. But it was not my place to repeat.
I don't understand. What about father?
Your maman betrayed the love of a good, honest man and played away behind his back and then kept it hidden for all these years like a lady of the night with her client list.
You will say no more. Angeline, I...
Did Felix know?
This is not an appropriate conversation.
He knew, dear girl. He knew the whole time. It is only dear Edwin that was blind to their deceit.
You will not talk of him like that. You will not talk of him at all.
If I don't, who will?
Fiancé and his brother have been real quiet this whole time.
Countess, there is something that you still have not explained.
What more is there for her to say?
How long were you in love with the Viscount for?
Margot? Is that true?
We were destined to be together. And then you turned up. And I was all but forgotten about.
But you were nothing more than friends.
And you made sure of that, didn't you? From the day you arrived, it was all about what you wanted and what you had to do to get it. You didn't consider Edwin at all. He was just a purse to you.
I loved my husband, and I miss him every day.
Loved him enough to stray?
Both of you, no more!
Please, Angela, let me explain.
Maman,
Elizabeth.
I do not wish to hear anything else from you.
Not even your own daughter wants to hear your lies anymore. Cassandra Van den Bosch, all alone.
How dare you!
Poirot's like, and I'm out.
While I feel a sense of satisfaction and pride in solving both cases, there is still a part of me that is reluctant to revel in triumph. I am content with the unmasking of Countess de Vos as the blackmailer, and knowing that she will pay for her crimes. But it is the justice for Mademoiselle Elizabeth that worries me. She will stand in a court of law, and I can only hope that they can see she acted in self-defense. I must trust that our legal system and justice will prevail, and a fair sentencing will be given. In protecting her own life, she took the life of another. Perhaps the guilt she must live with is a greater punishment than any sentence she can receive. Countess de Vos was taken from Nemozinet House in cuffs and placed under arrest. Although she initially tried to plead her innocence, Inga, along with a number of other girls that the Countess had found employment for, came forward and made full statements. She was charged with 5 counts of blackmail and extortion and sent to a house of corrections, where she will have a new life to become accustomed to. Monsieur Sterling and Mademoiselle Rihanna were also reprimanded for their participation. While they may not be facing time in prison, tampering with a crime scene and obstruction of a police investigation are certainly not something that houses and new employers will look positively on. Mademoiselle Angeline finally became Madame Demire, and together they took up residence in England, where Monsieur Demire continues to support and fight for fairness and equality in London. I am happy to say that we have remained in contact, and Madame Demire has become a regular correspondent of mine. And the latest joyous news is that they are expecting a child of their own. Madame Van den Bosch showed compassion that I had not seen in her before. She stood in court and gave a truthful and genuine character reference of Elizabeth, as well as describing the Major and the atrocious crimes he had committed.
Place around her heart thawed.
Van den Bosch's secret was revealed to the world. Her position in the social hierarchy was no more, disappearing in a moment. While she still resides in Belgium, I believe she has had to adapt to a far more modest way of life.
I mean, her daughter is rich as shit, so...
Following her actions in the courtroom, Angeline believed that her maman still had a place in her life. Although they are on different sides of La Manche, they remain in contact. Mademoiselle Conrad left Nemozinet House the same way she entered, confident in herself and audacious in her opinions. Her report of the Major's murder at the house and the surrounding blackmails became one of the most talked about stories of the year. While there were certain details of her own involvement that did not make it to print, she was really quite complimentary about the detective at the heart of the case. Monsieur de Silva tried to continue in his position as factory owner and business entrepreneur, but after his accounts and business dealings were investigated following the details of his blackmail being made public in Mademoiselle Conrad's article, his illustrious business empire began to crumble and is now facing an international corporate investigation. Monsieur Beckers stepped down from his position as union leader, accepting that he was no longer fit to represent the workforce that, in his words, he had let down on a scale of unmeasurable proportion. Although he is no longer the voice of the workers, he continues to support them from behind the scenes. Monsieur Zachariah and his brother made amends, and returning to his family home, and after sobering up, he was able to find the help that he required. I understand that he is now helping fellow soldiers with similar conditions. And Mademoiselle Elizabeth, she stood before a court, and while the proceedings were deemed controversial, the charges against her were dropped, and the reasoning of self-defense was accepted by the presiding judge. Madame Van den Bosch's testimony, along with Mademoiselle Angeline's declaration of her good character, was enough to show that it was not in Elizabeth's nature to act in such a violent way. The abundance of evidence against the Major, and his violent and cruel nature, including his appalling acts during the strikes and the war, was more than enough to prove that Mademoiselle Elizabeth had no other option in that situation but to defend herself in any way that she could. With the new arrival of Madame and Monsieur Demire's child next year, they have agreed to give Elizabeth the opportunity to return home to England and take up a position in their home as nanny.
Ah, okay. Hi.
The death of Elizabeth's beloved Luc has been at the center of everything. Had those in positions to help not acted with only themselves in mind, perhaps he would still be alive today, and the Major would have paid the price for his own crimes in the eyes of the law, not at the blade of a knife. The blood of Major Felix Egan will remain on Elizabeth's hands. A stain that wherever she is and whatever she may do, she will never be able to wash clean. However, it will remain as a reminder to not only her, but all of us, of what we as human beings are capable of to protect ourselves. We all have something that may be considered shameful or sinful, and it is how we deal with it that shows our true character. Those involved in the riots, the
this is the good ending? Yeah.
believed themselves to be untouchable. Whether it was from their social standing or their confidence in themselves, they learned that everyone is accountable for their actions. There is no exemption because of the suit you wear or the money in your bank account. There is no price to a man's life. It cannot be bought or traded or discarded. No man is better than another, including Detective Hercule Poirot.
That's very humble for you. Okay. Well, that was the end of the game. Yeah. Trying to think of how to talk about it here. Promising, I guess, is a good way to put it. Not good. There were some good parts, and it felt promising at the beginning. You know, the what's it called? The mind map thing was interesting. It kind of fell apart as the thing went on, I found. I found myself making connections that it said were wrong, but then when I actually made the connections it said was right, were either completely like left field, like where did that come from, or eventually led to the connection I was making anyway. And it kind of felt a little bit like, well, okay, but I knew that. Why did you tell me I was wrong when I was actually right? But whatever. The dialogue approach system, like I don't even know what to call it, the defense thing where you use the right approach, that didn't, yeah, I didn't like that one very much. Yeah, I didn't like it very much. I don't know. I feel like this is a dumbed down version of a point and click, which these games were, right? The old ones were. The ones we played way back when now. And that would have been better. Like, this was just I don't know. This felt like this was trying to appeal to an audience that doesn't like video games very much. It's kind of what it feels like. And so it was a little... Okay. The audio was out loud, not just part. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I know I started by reading a lot of it, and I tried to read the important parts, but at the same time, like... Yeah, I agree. It was weird how Poirot would sometimes narrate his own thoughts, but not others. That was kind of odd, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it is a disappointment, but like, you know, like I said, I can see the promise in it. I think they took a stab at writing an original story that had some interesting twists and turns, and, you know, just the mechanics got really boring, and it started feeling a little bit like we were just sitting here watching this kind of not well animated Poirot story. And the not well animated part of it too, like, that's just money, you know. But I don't know. I know there are other games that came after this one. There's at least 2 more that are already out that I now own. And then there's the new one that's coming out in September. So there's this one. There's another young Poirot one called The London Cases or something like that. And I guess we can play that maybe next. I don't know. And then they kind of jump off of the whole young Poirot thing altogether by doing a modern adaptation. Okay, I was wondering if there would be something at the end. They have like a modern adaptation of Orient Express that I've heard are very good. It's very good. And a significant portion of it apparently takes place in Boston. So I'm a little bit like, ooh, you know. And then the one I'm excited about is it's damn it, Death on the Nile, but takes place in the 1970s. So yeah, promise there, but just not in this one. Not in this one, I guess is the best way to put it. It's okay. It's fine. But yeah. Guess we'll pick up with some more Poirot next week and, you know, do the London Cases or something else, I guess. Code 31 assistance required on the dance floor. Ragnarok, get in here. That's an order. God, I missed that game a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I loved playing that game for the first time. And I hate to say it that I did try replaying it recently, and it just doesn't hit the same when you play it the second time, I guess. I desperately, I have a list of Nancy Drew ones to go through, and I just need to sit down and do them. And I just don't have as much time as I used to. Ugh. So yeah, we definitely need more of those on the stream as well. But anyway. So yeah. Oh my god, the Mass Effect memes were so good. They were so good. Oh my god. So yeah, that's it for tonight, I guess. And I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. I hope you enjoy your birthday weekend, Ragnarok. Have fun. This is probably going to be a kind of quiet weekend in for me, I'll admit. Last couple have been busy, so the house needs to be cleaned a little, not going to lie. I spent a lot of time today doing laundry, and I still have a load of laundry in the dryer downstairs that I cannot be bothered to go get tonight. So my boyfriend and I are probably going to a wedding tomorrow that may or may not give us heat stroke. We're gonna just see what happens. But anyway, have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. I will see you all next week. We'll pick up some more Poirot. Until then, have a good one, and I'll see you soon. Mwah.